I'm going to count down to 5 and then start on 1 as usual, okay? Good afternoon, good evening, grand rising, and welcome to another episode of Abroad and Thriving. Why? Because we're abroad and we're thriving. And today we have the intelligent, the beautiful Rebecca here. So Rebecca, please introduce yourselves and let them know where you're from on Abroad and Thriving.
My name is Rebecca Brianzo. I'm from Toronto, Canada.
Out of all the places in the word, you're from Toronto, Canada. Why and how did you get to Playa del Carmen?
Okay, well, my intention before coming here was to have a big art exhibit in Tulum, Mexico. And I came right before the pandemic in January, pre-pandemic, to exhibit. I rented a space here in Playa del Carmen to commute back and forth with a friend of mine. And then the lockdown happened. I got locked into Mexico and fell in love. So here I am.
Yeah, so you said you had an art exhibit prior to the pandemic happening, and then the pandemic came and remixed your plans. So now, what do you do for work here in Playa del Carmen?
For work full-time, I'm an ADHD coach, and I support, celebrate, and empower ADHD'ers online worldwide.
What does that entail? For example, how do your clients find you? And first, how do your clients find you?
A lot of my clients have found me through Instagram and Facebook. A lot of my work online is about educating people re-educating people about ADHD and all the positives and strengths that come with it. I personally see it as a gift. Once again, you know how to work with it. And so mostly through social media, I'm finding these days.
Got it.
Yeah.
So let me give a business lesson here, what she said. So notice how she uses the platforms of social media to get her message out of ADHD, of educating or re-educating, right? And niching down so that the people who need her help the most could find her where they are, which is on Facebook, Instagram, and so forth. So if you guys want to do the same thing with your art, your work, your services, and especially if you're helping humans as she's doing, do it in that way. It's called branding, finding your problems of your audience, knowing where they are, and addressing that in a creative way. And with your art background, I bet you know how to capture someone's inner spirit.
Yeah, for sure. And my clients are amazing. They're all over the world. I have clients from Dubai, even here in Tulum, Playa del Carmen, all the way back to Toronto. And, you know, ADHD and neurodiversity is international. It's in all of our cultures. It's not that old white boy running around, young white boy running around, that stigma that was once there. So a lot of people are coming to light that they might have it. And then, you know, when they can find coaches or mentors or really solid information backing it, then it just gives them a lot more peace of mind, and it helps them find a new path if they do find they have it.
And what was your catalyst for specializing in this and making this your mission and passion, and also life work to help others?
Yeah, it's a personal story.
You don't have to share it if you don't want.
No, it's cool. Like, I'm an open book. I have ADHD. No holds barred. I was diagnosed in 1994, back in the day, when doctors just again saw it as, you know, a traditional little kid stereotypical disease. I was given Ritalin, and that just made me feel terrible.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. I quickly actually took myself off the medication and just learned to carve out my own path and create a customized life to work with my ADHD. And once I did that, then I also started carving out this international life. So working with my ADHD and being able to live on my own terms, travel the world, work with neurodiverse artists, musicians, and all the things I've been doing throughout my life is something that is my bigger purpose. And yeah, so my story is based from a personal story.
But that's ready. And again, I always, whenever you could create your life around your person and around the solution which you believe you could provide to the earth, right? We one of my philosophies is we're born in a world full of problems. So logically, it's meant that each individual, it's your job to solve a problem.
Right.
So you had a personal problem or have a personal problem, and you figured it out for you.
Yeah.
Right? Around you. You're not trying to change the world.
Nah.
You change your thinking, your mindset to adapt to it and adapt to you. Right? And then the world adapts to you.
Yeah.
And that's what you're helping other people do as well. And it doesn't have to do ADHD. You could. That's for everything, everyone. The world's not going to change for you.
Yeah.
You have to change for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Or adapt, right?
Yeah, and like we operate on an entirely different operating system. And so we're brought into this world with a neurotypical life manual, and a lot of us just feel like a lot of resistance and stress and overwhelm, anxiety, depression, because we're always just trying to fit into this neurotypical world. And the truth is, if we're neurodiverse, we're complete opposites. So we actually, a big part of my coaching even is just retraining the brain to work with your gifts and work with your blessings, because not only do we operate on a whole other system, like we're the creative Macs, they're the Windows, right? In terms of systems, we also have huge superpowers, and we can go really far. I mean, Will Smith has it, Mel Robbins has it, Richard Branson, like major stars have it, and they're open about it too, which gives like a lot of new vision on ADHD, and also a lot of role models and mentors coming out. And
the word, you've been using the word disclaimer. I had to go to the dentist. So this whole side of my face is numb. So I'm here sounding like 50 Cent. And every time she speaks and I respond, I just want to say, G-unit. But I can't. So I'm going to stutter in this question I'm about to ask. So neurodiverse.
Neuro.
I can't say it because of the swollen
I got
face.
your back.
Thank you. So say it one more time and then tell us what it is so they could understand.
Neurodiverse. So there's neurotypical brains, which have really healthy executive functioning. And then again, we're exact opposites. So we do have challenges with our executive functioning, dopamine levels, circadian rhythms, and a bunch of other things, but we're considered neurodiverse. So, you know, ADHD, autism, we're on the spectrum. And so again, we're just completely different. We're hot-wired totally differently in our brain.
Yes. And or it could be how I see it. All of us are meant to be how we're meant to be. Yeah. So you're normal, all of us are supposed to be diverse.
Yeah.
We're not all supposed to be the same. Not all supposed to be wired the same, because imagine the world would be so boring.
Yeah.
So unimaginative.
Yeah.
G-unit.
Yeah. Exactly. And I feel like neurodiversity and ADHD'ers and people with autism are creatively taking over this world, and I'm here for it.
She's here all over it, and then once we start colonizing other planets, she'll be there. I don't want to say colonize; that's such a horrible name.
Rewind.
When we start settling and other planets, she'll be there there too.
Taking over.
Yes.
Yeah.
When when some of your clients come to you, like, what are some of their pain points that you deal with? Like, like the top 3 pain points that you see that they have, and what do you go about helping them with? Give an example.
Great question. I find the big ones, are part of our symptoms. Symptoms and challenges, impulsivity. So one of our big pain points as ADHDers is shopping, spending, debt, which could lead to bankruptcy.
Yes.
So a lot of the time, it depends on the client, but they bring the topic to the table, and then we just brainstorm and knock it out. But impulsivity is a big one, which could lead to overeating. It goes all out.
Yeah.
It ripple effects into the world. Another one beyond shopping and spending, let me think for a second. Time management.
Oh,
yeah,
I understand that one.
Yeah, a lot of us, you know, we're really fluid with time. And again, we don't see time the same way as a neurotypical brain. And so if we're really caught up in something we love and we're in our purpose and we've got our intention behind it, we can get lost in it for hours. I used to see musicians in music studios all around the world just in there for 10 hours and they felt like an hour left, you know, just passed by them, sorry. So yeah, time is really complicated with us and our relationship with time. So it's just kind of working out different structured steps to work with time.
And as you say that, I was re-listening to what you answered earlier, and about taking that and turning it into a power. For example, a musician taking 10 hours to do something that might be able to do 3 or 4 hours, right? But if I, you know, like looking from outside, you help that musician understand that they can do it in this short amount of time, and to figure out why within them it takes that long, so they can solve their own problems and learn to manage time through their art. And use it as a superpower, basically.
Yeah, everyone holds their own answers. You know, a lot of it's just kind of getting to the root of their symptom, the root of their challenge, to unravel it and then leverage off of it and make it a strength so that they can show up better for themselves and for the people around us. Because ADHD not only impacts me, it impacts everyone around me. So, you know, until I can get a real handle on it, then, you know, life just becomes so much more peaceful when you work with it.
And I would say this translates to like your own personal mindset, your own, like, you know, outside of ADHD, these lessons and this mindset applies to solving many people's problems.
Right.
So you're gonna have to do a brand extension in the future to help more people.
Hey.
So what other countries have you lived in, and why?
I have lived in Zurich, Switzerland.
Okay.
My best friend lived there at the time. She invited me to come live with her. And so I went over there just on a whim, and it felt good. So I tried it out. It was in my mid-20s, and I thought, why not just explore the world? And then I moved to Dubai.
Okay, so you went from Switzerland, very cold, to very hot, or effing hot.
Yeah, so hot, like hotter than here hot.
So hot. Why did you go there?
While I was in Switzerland, I went to Dubai for a 1-month vacation. Really close friends of mine live there. At the time, I was working in the music industry, and I was promoting Canadian artists across Europe. And so when I went to Dubai, I just contacted all of the local labels and the music shops and stuff. I networked myself over in Dubai. And then when I went back to Switzerland, I just really felt there was more opportunity for me in Dubai.
Yes.
And I saw this amazing music industry, and I felt that I could really play a big part in contributing to it. And again, I personally think that most artists have ADHD or autism or both. So I just love being with my people, and so I went to Dubai, and within, I think, 7 days of landing and taking all the risks to move there, it was just like all self-belief, you know, like everything I do is just because I believe it's gonna work. Mindset. And so when I landed in Dubai, I contacted those people in the music industry that I networked with, and I got a job working with Music Master and Universal Records within 7 days.
And you see, right, like we were discussing, like, things happen for you when you go with that belief, and then you plug yourself in to solve problems because you have the skill sets that those artists or that industry needed. And you needed them so you could manifest your thoughts and ideas, which is so. It makes sense, because imagine thinking you're great at something and you don't have the muses or the tools or the opportunity. So you become frustrated. Then you go crazy and you're like, no, I believe in myself. I'm going to make it happen. And look what happened. These are good lessons for all these people. It's inspiring stories, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. And we needed each other out there, you know, because the local artists that are there are brilliant, and the DJs, and they're from all over Arabia. Majority of them that I worked for or worked with. And so So we all needed each other, and it was just the time was right, and it was nice to cultivate the music industry with the locals. You know, it wasn't outsourcing all of these artists to come in. That was my other job with Universal Records, you know, to hype them up and help them with their tours and stuff. But this was more personal. And so my boss allowed me to sign local artists that I believed in, and then they would have to also co-sign on my view.
Oh snap! So you did A&Ring too?
A&R just for the distribution, not for the labels.
Okay.
So it was great because then they were able to capitalize a lot more income.
Yeah. On point.
Yeah.
On point. So you love Dubai, apparently.
Yeah.
And what
great
made you leave
time.
Dubai?
Well, I was managing a band from Dubai, a soul jazz band. They're absolutely brilliant. Their name is Abri, if you want to check them out. A really beautiful soul band.
We'll post it up here.
Yeah, and it was just, they were getting really big in the local industry and then in the Middle East and North Africa. So we just kind of felt at the time it was time for us to try our luck in London, England.
All right.
We had gone on a tour. We got a sponsored tour that I organized for them to go record in London, England, and they were super well received there. So we just felt, why not move there? And my contract was up with Music Master, and I decided to peace out and go try out London, England, because it felt right.
Again, going with intuition and feeling and believe in self.
Yeah.
And how was expensive London?
Equally as expensive as Dubai, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, but it was interesting. London was great. We did some gigging, but Dubai kept calling us back to perform. At that point, it was just down to the singer. The rest of the band went their own ways, and so the singer and I were flying back and forth London to Dubai frequently, so I felt like I was actually mostly living back in Dubai, although my house, my apartment and my stuff was in London.
So what advice would you give to all these people who are looking at people abroad and thriving, such as yourself, and especially how you allow your self-belief and intuition to guide you? Of course, you have to have the research, the knowledge, the intelligence, but intelligence brain thinking could get you just so far.
Yeah.
There's things that the brain cannot solve.
And it can trick you out of it.
Exactly.
Right away. If you give yourself too much time, I find the mind can go into all of these different avenues. So it's really good to, if you have an idea of living abroad, the best thing is to start researching it, maybe quickly go on a vacation to catch a vibe.
Yeah, catch a vibe.
Yeah, and then also there's a lot of Facebook community groups for expats, so you could jump on there, kind of check it out. They have tons of rentals and stuff and advice and community, and sometimes you'll even find a job before you land. So I find Facebook's really resourceful in the group, the expat group departments, and also, or if you're just an entrepreneur and all you need is Wi-Fi, just go. I'm all about just going. If it's calling you and you can work anywhere already, like it's just, it's one of the most important decisions to make is, and I strongly suggest everyone try to work abroad for even a year. It will change their whole world, their whole landscape, and it's a really cultured experience.
And yes, so great answer. I was not expecting such a detailed answer and a fine-tuned one. What's one of the examples of which could change in their lives if they move abroad, or if they just travel for extended time abroad?
Yeah, it's amazing. I think it just really humbles you. It just straight down humbles you. You realize how small you are in the world. Like that hierarchy and ego, and you think everything is this way, so black and white. And then you go and travel and you're like, holy shit, everything is gray. Like everything is in between. You know what I mean? Like it's just, you'll get cultured. Not only will you get humbled, you'll just learn so much about doing business in other people's countries, how they operate. And I just think you grow, and I find it's a real spiritual journey.
Yes, and the part where you said about it humbles you, you find out that no one cares. And then you find out other people have other problems. Like when I left the United States, no one cares what's on the United States news.
Yeah.
No one even knows. So
Yeah.
like the things that they make so much like in our heads to
Yeah.
program us and make us neighbor fight neighbor, men fight women,
Yeah.
straight fight straight, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff they make us fight.
Yeah.
No one cares
No.
in the world.
Canada what?
No,
US
no,
who?
Yeah, like no one
yeah,
cares.
No.
And then you find out like, oh, so I spent all these years worrying about things that don't matter.
Yeah.
And then you find brain peace, you find peace where I could let these things go.
Yeah.
They have nothing of constructive or productive value.
Yeah, your fear drops a lot when you travel. A lot of things you might have been afraid of before, you're just like, oh, I've got this. It just gives you so much more swag. Is that still a word?
No, listen, it's a word for whoever uses it. I never, like that word I never use, and right now I don't use the word lit.
Okay.
Either, even though that's a popular word,
okay.
because it's been used so much by people who are not lit, that how could it be lit? Or it's like when everyone has, like everyone in the school has a pair of Jordans on. How are you cool? Everyone has it.
Yeah.
Like it's no longer special.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. But if it's cool to you, it's cool to you.
Confidence.
Yeah, you make it cool.
It just gives you so much more confidence.
Cool comes from within, you know? You make it cool. Swag. Anyways, so let's get back. So what programs or services that you're doing here to help people, or new service that you have with ADHD?
Putting together a mini fall tour where I'm going back to Canada and I'm hosting live and in-person workshops in Toronto and surroundings. A one-day intimate workshop with my people, teaching them all about their ADHD and giving them several holy shit moments of clarity and realizing that everything's just starting to click into place when you tell them about how ADHD shows up in your life, and you know how surprised you'll be when you're like, oh, that's me, you know.
Yeah.
So the tour is going to start in Toronto, and then I'm going to bring it back to Playa and Tulum and surroundings. So just right now I'm working on the one-day live in-person workshop. I have yet to do in-person because of the world and where we've been for the past few years. So that's
which is also beneficial, because by doing it not in person first, you're able to connect with way more people, and you're not restricted by location, and even time. It's where everyone has access to you, and you have access to those seeking help. So I think it's a benefit. I'm seeing the positive out of something, you know, that others may not see.
Yeah, virtual is cool, but in person we love to connect and hug and touch and, you know,
yeah,
hang out.
we're animals.
Yeah.
Animals love to.
Yeah, we just like to be close to each other and laugh and
what's your lifestyle like here living in Playa del Carmen? They want to know.
Well, my life in Playa del Carmen is very PG-13 compared to how I used to be. I was quite a rebel growing up, so now life looks just really chill. My partner and I live by the beach. He and I are really into nature, so we love going to the ocean. He's a professional spearfisher and fisherman, so we go out to the ocean, catch our lobster, bring it back to the house, make a ceviche, you know.
And listen, when you have that invite, just let me know, all right?
Welcome.
That sounds very good.
Yeah, mostly just chilling out in nature and taking it really easy. I have a really peaceful, calm life here.
That sounds beautiful. And compared to expenses in Toronto, London, or Dubai, or like you tell your money goodbye.
Yeah.
That's why it rhymes. Goodbye, Dubai.
Yeah.
Anyways, how is the cost of living and quality of life here compared to everywhere else where you've experienced?
Yeah, it's really, I personally find it's really affordable living here. There's all different parts of Playa, so you can go ultra rich or ultra affordable. So there's, you know, diversity in every city. So I find personally that it's really affordable to live here. And going back to Toronto recently, seeing how expensive life is and groceries and rent and so on and so forth, it overwhelms me. So I personally find here a lot more reasonable.
Yes.
And
you're using the right diplomatic words.
Yeah.
Economical, affordable, reasonable. Look at that. They're media trained.
Yeah. It's a perfect balance here, financial and life balance. I have a bigger life balance here.
So quality of life.
Yeah, I just couldn't find my feet in the West. I was working working and side hustling and working.
And catching hats.
Yeah, and catching hats. We'll do this. We got this. It's just a hurricane. Ready to take out your best cameraman.
And Abby tells me, because Abby's from Philippines, so Abby's usually like, well, this is a hurricane. We have monsoons. I'm like, Abby, I'm not comparing.
Right. Yeah.
Winds blow things.
Yeah.
That's great to hear. So regarding quality of life and traveling, would you have known if you did not travel, that you could have different quality of life or even upgrade your quality of life and save money and still live well?
Yeah, no.
Would you have known that back home?
No, I would have never thought of all those things. Those aren't the things that I was thinking about. It was always just about like, how do I get work in that place? How do I, get a working visa? And so I didn't really think about that kind of stuff, but I've traveled heavily across, the Middle East, Asia, and Latin America. And so I always found that people in general just have a better quality of life and balance in life in these places in the world. I don't know what it is exactly. I don't know if it's the ocean, if it's the tropical weather, but I just find that these parts of the world, they've just already cultivate a really nice life balance. And it was just something that's really infectious, something I needed for my soul.
Yes.
Hustling the way that I did growing up probably caused me a lot of burnouts that wasn't aware of.
Yes.
Because I was just running off optimism,
I like that too, running off, because when you're running off optimism, it's close to running off of hopeism.
Yeah.
You just keep, but you get lost in the sauce.
Yeah, and so exhaustion was really there, and I have the hyperactive combo ADHD, so I'm driven by a Ferrari engine without brakes, and it never stopped. And then, moving here, and my partner's super grounded, really spiritual human being, so I feel like when you're in these parts of the world, you just get so much more grounded, you get so much more wisdom, and money isn't everything.
Yeah, and when money is a tool to me, right?
It's an energizer.
Tool, yeah, it's a tool.
Yeah,
but when you do know that and you're tapped into what your purpose is, it will come.
Exactly.
And especially when you're helping other people, and you're helping other people from a perspective of really problem solution, not helping to make money.
Yeah.
That they will bring more people to you. It's just in a world, we have a world of abundance that could feed everyone, but our current systems and the greeds or the whatever is in people's minds and their institutions that currently control the world that we live in, make it seem as it's a life of scarcity, so that, to me, in my opinion, we're dependent animals.
Yeah.
But once you find what you stated out, you have freedom.
Yeah.
And then you could find the abundance, and abundance shall come to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Having the experience that you have now, today, what would you advise your younger self to have a better life or to avoid problems that you could have avoided?
I would love to tell my younger self it's okay to slow down. Actually, in fact, there's a lot more impact and better quality of work and better quality of mindset when you're slowing down. And that it's okay to slow down. Again, driven by that Ferrari engine, I didn't know it was an option. I thought that I had to keep up with the pace of my brain through my body. So I think just it's okay to slow down, and everything will work out. Everything will work out. So there's just no need to ruminate or think of all of the negatives and stuff like that. So just really like everything's gonna work out, and slow down, because life is around you, and being present and mindful in moments would have been a bit more impactful for me personally.
All right, thank you for sharing that. And those are like real honest stuff from real advice from real experience versus theoretical.
Right.
And where can people come and find first give advice to all the people who have ADHD and are seeking help and don't know what to do?
Right.
Yeah, so what would you give advice to them, and how could they reach you?
So Now, in these days, there's several amazing resources. A lot of them are free, which is great. Online, there's Attitude ADD, Attitude magazine. That's a free resource with abundance of information about ADHD, a lot of it strength focused. Dr. Ned Hallowell has written a book, again, strength focused, all about empowering ADHD'ers. I strongly suggest checking that book out.
But how about you? Like, where can people
okay.
reach
Sorry.
you? Yeah,
My bad.
Yeah, you're the number
Just
one
thinking
guest,
of
right? No, but those
hyping
are
everyone else up.
Yeah, but I'm here to hype you up.
Yeah, okay. So you can find me at theartofadhd.com. theartofadhd.com. My name is Rebecca Brianceau. It's a French last name. Rebecca, Brianceau.
And where could they find you on IG?
Yeah, again, Rebecca Brianceau.
And we'll write it here and in the description, and it's raining, so we gotta go and we gotta run.
Go.
So thank you for watching Abroad and Thriving. Thank you for watching Abroad and Thriving with our beautiful, intelligent guest, fighting and creating the life that she wants. And you, thank you for watching Abroad and Thriving, or Abby says to get down on the floor, Abby. Should I start dancing? Thank you for watching Abroad and Thriving, and we appreciate you despite and regardless of the rain. Make your positive energy rain on everything else. Holla.
Hurricane's coming.
I know.